Good evening everyone and welcome to another tournament stream. We will be streaming NA tonight and it's very late, well slash early for me, so forgive me for any brain derps that I might do. I promise that I'm not doing them on purpose, but it has everything to do with this time of night, and for that reason I'm all the more happy to announce that we actually have actual NA streamers these days. So be sure to also subscribe to Fishy and to Droodles because they will also be streaming NA. And Fishy will be streaming Primal tonight. I will get a link later. I will post that on my Discord and in the stream chat for you to find if need be. Brian is streaming, of course. He will be following Rain tonight, and I will be following Pincer tonight. So this is what it looks like right now in my garage. In 1 minute I will not get a room invite because Pincer does not have any matches the first half hour. So I will be entertaining you with some basically replays. Not much I can do about that. We just need to fill the time until 3:15 AM for me. Well, actually 3:30 AM for me when we actually get the first match up. So basically we are just waiting. I always want to make sure that I really do not get a room invite because I never trust wargaming systems to work exactly as they say they should work, for obvious reasons, because quite often it does not go exactly as intended. So we will see what is going on, and in the meantime let me grab the bracket, because the funny thing is that right now it always switches me back to EU. Even when I'm looking at the NA bracket, it's silly that way. But Blitz Assistant actually shows the brackets where the rest of the game does not. And there's only one group, so everyone is in one group. But there's only 4 clans that have a first match. And Pincer will start off against either JJ or Galaxy. I'm gonna assume that it's Galaxy. And after that we might meet Void or Purple, but yeah, basically we will see. But at least all the streamers are not set to meet anywhere before the semi-finals, and in my case I will not meet Fishy or Brian before we actually get to the finals or the battle for third place, depending on how things go, of course. And this is of course assuming Pincer does not get knocked out, because if they get knocked out, I get knocked out as streamer as well. So like I said, we will start off with some replays to fill about half an hour. There's nothing to it. I can't really avoid it because, well, it's basically we can't be attached to a bracket, so we've been attached to a team, and Pincer does not have a match right now. So let's see, what have I got for you. I have actually not watched this one yet, and it's gonna be rage filling because I believe it is a Smasher replay. Yes, it is. On Himmelsdorf. One of my least favorite maps, to be fair, but it can work out and you can have epic matches in it. I'm not actually sure. I might have shown this already. I'm not sure. But like I said, forgive me for any brain dips that I do. It has everything to do with the time of night for me and making very long days to stream as much as I can. And I'm extra glad for Fishy to starting streaming so that we can actually just get some sleep during the night once Fishy's a bit used to it and all. Because right now we've already basically assigned ourselves to a lot of streams, but hopefully next season Fishy will be streaming NA as well, and that will mean some more night sleep for me. Because I've no doubt that he will do a fantastic job. He's a competitive player himself, so he generally knows what he's talking about and what needs to happen to get certain results and everything. Nice cheeky first shot, and he just gets deleted, poor Bulldog. But the enemy team has 2 bases now, and that means that they kind of need to steal base A if they want this to go well. Low roll there, and he actually lets the SDA take the hit, which is not that bad a call. It's always nice if you can use your team as basically cannon fodder. And he might take a hit from this. But he does not even. And the guy is deleted. AMX, not long for this earth either. And Paul is just capping the base now so that they will at least have their advantage back. 3 red tanks have been deleted so far, leaving only 4 more targets. And let's see, where is he gonna go? We see where all 4 of them are. And they kind of just need to make sure that they keep a base advantage of some sort. Nice little bounce there. Smasher is actually one of the very few derp guns that I actually enjoy driving. It is a bit of an evil tank, it is quite OP. But generally I'm not a fan of derp. And... oof, that bounce. Should have aimed just a little bit longer to make sure that shot went in. But at the same time he is capping a base, so at least he's being quite useful still. The defender is not paying attention to the Smasher, neither is this VK. And the IS at the back. Oof. Nice one. Barely survives getting hit. So let's see, STA is getting behind them. But is going to meet a defender, which is not really the best way to go. Careful aiming, Paul. You can do this. You can just shoot him in the side. Yeah, there you go. Now that works. So that leaves a 5 versus 3. And Paul so far has captured both green bases, so that's definitely going to give him some nice points. But he's a bit indecisive here, not entirely certain which way he wants to go. The IS has now been taken out, so there's only 2 people left. One of which is a reasonably healthy defender who bounces his shot. But overall, 2.5k damage in tier 7, some nice supremacy points because of the fact that he kept some bases. And let's see, will he be able to make this shot? Yes! Tank not disappearing behind the tracks. Would be nice if we could get a nice little top gun along with it. Let's see if he can. Yes, he can! 4 kills, 3 points, nearly 3k damage, and a nice bunch of supremacy points. Oof, that defender also doing epic damage, but his team really not doing anything along with it. Nearly half the 1k points that would have been needed for a victory are Paul's. So that definitely helps with aces. I'm a big fan of supremacy, to be fair. I only play supremacy. Oh, this actually, I need this tank. This, seriously guys, if you have the gold lying around, I absolutely adore this thing. Let me actually just see, because what else came along with it? The Lorraine. Do I have the Lorraine on this account? Oh yeah, I do. Okay, so I don't need that. I only need the spaghetti. So that means I can just do it here, actually. This is, it's a tank. I absolutely adore it. And this is a press account, so I can buy pretty much anything I want. And it is so sexy, this tank. It is seriously one of my favorite tanks in the game. And let's just make it look pretty. There we go. I'll just go with that. Joys of a press account, you don't need to watch your gold spending. The only thing is that now I really need to ask Wargaming to fill my press account again. So that is one out of the way. Just going to check how the voice thing is. Commentary volume check gets a green check, so that's always a good thing. And the deal for real wants to be a sexy bonbon. Oh, we had such a oh god, there was a team last year that called themselves that, the sexy bonbons, and I just could not get over that name. It's just funny. So yeah, that's the first replay that I've got to show you. We still need to fill like half an hour or so. Let's show you some more. You might see some that I've already shown elsewhere. But there's not really any avoiding that. with the amount of time that I have to skip half an hour and me not being able to play PC to save my life. Hello everyone that is watching, by the way. Not much happening just yet. In about 30 minutes thereabouts we will get our first match. So for now I'm going to fill it with some replays. And that will just have to entertain you instead. This is actually a tank. I quite like the tank, but I love it so much more with the camo. It has a nice gold and black camo. It's always nice when your teammate spams the direction he wants to go in to the enemy team as well. It's kind of like, let's meet up there, guys. And it is time, because I've actually been playing gravity mode and everything, I have to remember that this is not gravity and tanks will not go flying when you shoot them. It's actually been quite funny. I generally do not like weird game modes and stuff. But in this case I've actually been quite enjoying it. And he just keeps on driving, which in this case it's not bad. But he could potentially do better by not doing that. Because I think he would have been more likely to bounce had he just sort of like angled and wiggled. Now I have the IS-8 coming up and over. And a gun barrel in the way. But he still gets a nice shot in while capping the base. Ah, Toby, you missed it. I already showed it on the EU stream. But if you insist, I will show it again. To be fair, it was an epic game and it deserves showing off. And it shows exactly why missiles need to be removed from the game. So in that way, yes, it definitely needs showing off some more. Shooting your teammate is not the way to go. You need to kill your enemy instead. Oof. HE derp. In a way, I like that he just keeps driving around, but at the same time, I have a feeling he's derped some shots by doing this. And it's the Batchat AP that gets the kill. Good evening, Skurbizinski. I'm gonna assume that I pronounced that wrong, but hopefully not too badly. And let's see, will he get this shot? Nope. HE derp. Let's see, Grill moving. He's actually getting a bit stuck on the trains there. Conway, the same Conway that revealed his plan to the whole wide world, is now wanting to do stuff with your mum's team. Only my mum does not play this game. Fun fact though, my mum actually has this app on her iPad because at some point my iPad was having issues and I borrowed hers to see if I could play. Well, I had to stream, that is why I couldn't like really wait for it. And she's never deleted the app from her iPad because of that. And she's actually been waiting and just updating the app and everything. She even gets the notifications about the events. It's really funny. Even though she never plays and will never play because it's so not her thing. But it's just funny. So now he's alone against two. The grill seems to have gone AFK. And we only have a tortoise. So in this case, this is something that... if you can easily take in a shot from a TD, let them take the shot and then use the time that they need to reload to get behind them. In this case, there's a building there, by the way. In this case, I understand that he's sort of like going around, but he doesn't really need to. He has 1k hit points, nearly 1100. He can easily take a few shots from the tortoise without any problems. And it would have been a lot more relaxing to just get behind him and to just murder him that way. And he does get a shot in, then he goes to cap a base. Which, in a way, I do understand because, well, it sort of like ensures victory, and more than that, it ensures you getting more supremacy points. which could potentially lead to an ace. And you're 4.4k damage in tier 10, so it could potentially be a close call. But in this I don't understand. He's just like avoiding the confrontation altogether, and he really doesn't need to. He could really just, you know, he's capping base C again. But he really doesn't need to be scared. He could just get behind him, and he's actually just not doing that. And that's something that I don't understand. I mean, look at his HP. And yes, overall it is a nice game. And he does get the kill. So in the end he does make it, but it could have been a lot easier. And to X Phantom X, I'm pretty sure that the game doesn't do those kind of services. So you will need to find a non-fucking clan. But 1684 base XP, 5.4k damage, 815 supremacy points. And that will definitely get you an ace. And yes, the Spaghetti 46, this little beauty, I've actually gotten a rating camo on it, and I've pimped it with some other camos. Yeah, let's see if that's actually here. No, I can't shoot. I can't find it here. I have a paintball. You know that the fence, it's called fan zone, I think. But it looks like someone was shooting paintballs at your tank. And it just looks fantastic in it. I absolutely adore it. It is an auto reloader. You have to like auto reloaders in order for it to work. But for me, I really love it. And yeah, for me it was definitely worth it. I got it the first time around. It was a bit more expensive then. And I've never regretted it. So, with Fizzy telling me he wants me to show his replay, I'm just going to do just that. I just need to open the right folder because I've been trying not to show too many replays double by moving the replays that I've shown to a different folder. But my laptop is kind of like, be careful with me whenever I stream. So let's see. Toby, there you are. And let's go look at missiles and everything that is wrong and right with it. I showed this earlier today on the EU stream, and to be fair, it is a really epic game. But it's just so exactly like, this is why missiles should not be in the game as well. So let's see. But yeah, if you have the gold, and you have the gold to waste basically, get that tank. Otherwise I would save it for golding your crew in the high tiers, because it makes so much difference. And 10k is still a heck lot of gold. So he starts by going up on base C B, getting a shot into the ground rather than into the tank. And then you're like, oh, misses aren't so bad. Yes, he even finds it lol. But the laughter will die. That one definitely hit with barely any aiming. And he pulls back away from the 1-2-1, which is cool because the T-62 is actually a really good teammate here. And they are basically facing this danger together. Campers at the back to cover them. This is also a nice shot even though it bounces, and that one definitely didn't bounce. And then they have more tanks arriving at the back of them. And this is something I like because when you see tanks coming up behind you, you have a choice. You can either go for the tank in front of you and push, or you can turn around and deal with it. And the T-62A is dealing with the Leo, or the 1-2-1. I can't see from here which it is. Whereas Shelly is Shelly here. Toby is just going straight on after the E1. Like I said, I will have brain derps. It is 3:13 AM for me, so I'm tired as hell. And the T-62A is still full health, which I also think is quite a feat. Nice little bounce there. And the 1-2-1 is pulling back. Toby lands a big one into him. And that means that our pretty pro T62A can finish him off. And in this case, Toby is like not entirely certain what he wants to do, but there you go. Nice little HE, barely aimed because he wasn't even standing still. And he finishes off the Leo. And he's being quite careful here. I do think that is a good call overall. Waiting for a target, not wanting to push too far. E100 pulling back there. And an IS-8 making himself a very easy target. IS-8 absolutely adore the tank. It is a proper heavy but yeah, it does not have a lot of armor. And that generally does not go very well when you go up against big caliber guns. Toby wanted to get up this ramp. And it's not exactly going as it should. But there we go, he finally gets up. And that is sounding so wrong on so many levels. And he actually has the missiles loaded in this point. And he fires one. And he does hit. It doesn't do damage, it hits the tracks, but heat is absorbed by the tracks, so that makes sense. But now there's 3 enemies left. And basically they kind of want Fizzy. Well, he kills off the IS-8 first. The E100, you can see he is constantly looking at Fizzy's location. Waiting for Fizzy to make himself a target. But he cheekily gets a shot into the E4. And we're about to see some very pro tactics from the E100. Like the green E100 dies. And that E100 is actually making it easier by angling as he did. Giving Toby his nearly 5k shot. And he actually shoots Toby rather than the E100 in front of him. And that lets Toby destroy him. Whereas the E100 kills the T60A that was so helpful before. And this is something with 3 versus 1. This should not really be necessary. At the same time, the enemy has a base. And it can't help to get yourself A, some supremacy points, and B, the base that the enemy has, because it keeps them from getting points. And an E100 will not be able to go around the place that fast. So the E75 is going headlong into it. He does do some damage. He has already gotten a shot in. He bounces that one though. Does a little bit of round damage. And the E100 will not let him live much longer. And there we go. And this is a beautiful pen. Aimed at that little slit that you could actually see, it pens. But this is basically what I mean. Missiles should not be in the game. And these shots show exactly why. Because he is safe. He does not need to show himself or be at risk. And he gets that missile shot in. He is switching back to APCR in the meantime. But this too, he is still in the spot where the E100 can't hit him. And he aims up and he shoots him straight through the roof. And this is just, oh my god. I mean, it's a great game, but it's exactly why missiles should not be in the game. And the last missile kills the guy off. E4 not happy with the missile use. But here we go, 7,342 damage, 5 kills, high caliber of course, and 1,743 base XP. I repeat, base XP. That is ridiculously high. Some nice supremacy points, mostly from the kills. Well, just under half of it are from kills. But yeah, it is a fantastic game, and have to be fair, and have to basically say it, this was Toby's first 7k plus game. So that all the more means that I feel that it should be showed off. So now we just wait. We have 14 minutes left to go before the match start. And that means I can show you another replay before we just have to wait for the room. Let's see, what have I got for you? And let's go for this one, see what happens. T62A, lovely tank, has been overbuffed with the gun depression that it now has. But overall it's a good tank. And I quite enjoy it. This is one of those... I always thought the 140 and the T62A was pretty much the same thing. I like the 140 better because of the drive style, and I still do. But they are pretty similar. And with the gun depression buff that it has had, the T62A is statistically quite stronger. So let's see what is going to happen here. And the Sheridan is going straight in. And other than his words... Oof, okay, he is supporting him now. But with going up to the hill... Also nice shooting the Hori in the front. And the T-54 is gone. Oof. He needs to be careful with that T-54 though. But he has some support behind him in the form of 2 large caliber guns. So that's definitely a good thing. And of course, now aware of the sniper there, he can finish him off. That's a good one. He has to be a little bit careful here. There's campers at the back and we have the STB flanking around. And the E100 is definitely focused on him. Waffle just going in, like straight on YOLO. And he pretty much gets deleted. We know where the Hori is. He's in that bush. And the Waffle took him out and does not take any damage in return. There's 2 Waffles mined and one of them has been damaged. But now Dan is not really in a good position. They want the E100 to come, but the E100 is not completely stupid. He knows that there are campers back there in the form of a big TD with a big gun. Yak Tiger is pushing on his own. The object takes the shot. And the Sheridan has been shot. But the E100 loses a lot of health over it. And if he hadn't... He should have just spent a little bit more time aiming. This is the thing. If you derp your shots, that can happen. But especially in this situation, it's become more and more vital to make sure that all the shots you take are true. That bounce though. And this is the thing with camping. With the 268 that is behind him camping. Along with his fellow med. It is very useless. He will get some nice assisted damage for it. At the same time, he is the only one actually doing his job. The light is now flanking around. And he doesn't want to go down, which I understand. But the object is not actually shooting him. Ooh, that bounced though. And Dan is basically massively carrying the whole team like this. And he just has to be careful with that E100 over there. He can't shoot the guy that is creeping up on the 268 that keeps telling him to push. And then does absolutely nothing himself. There's another Waffle there. Ooh, that bounced though. And now he's making the choice to save his teammates at the possible expense of himself. But to see if he can keep the the 268 alive. by going around driving into a corpse. Oof, he's lucky with that. He has to be careful with the building. And he's going after the standard B, who is waiting for him, and now the 268 isn't even helping him. That is how useful this team is being. And he has to be careful. There you go, that is a good shot. And with him driving into the hill like that, that's definitely helpful. So we are nearly 7... Oh, we are 7k damage into it. And he just has to be very careful with that E100. Because that E100 could finish him off, potentially. E100 has just fired. At this stage I would move. You can hear from the gun sounds that tanks have fired, and you heard two, one left and one right. Which is how we know that the E100 fired. And the Hori is going after the Sheridan. And now deciding to want to shoot Dan instead. And the 268 is still alive. And basically the E100... Yeah, there you go. The Sheridan is now gone. He kind of has to take the shot in order to kill the Hori in time. Oh my god. Nah. Oh my god, Dan! Oh my god. Come on. There you go. Yeah, we don't know what the 268 was doing. And if it's going to be able to carry this. That is one. But this is a tricky thing. I don't agree with the whole language thing, but I do understand his language. But where did Hori go? He does not have the time to just stay here. I have to say it, by the way, that Dan is our recruit, and he's recruiting to get into the Gold Noob Association. And you have to keep him... No, don't go... Oh my god, don't pull back. What's wrong with you? Oh, he does get it though. Thank god for that. When someone has just fired, I don't get the people that pull back, because you know that you have X amount of seconds before they can fire again, and that allows you to shoot them. But Dan takes it home for nearly 8k damage. 4 kills, 1842 basic speed. Basically this whole HP buff from the heavies is going to break so many records here. But yeah, my clan is called the Gold Noob Association. So when someone calls you a Gold Noob, it's actually more of a compliment than anything else. The thing is that the game gives you these things to get ahead. It's the same thing with equipment and provisions and consumables and gold, and just gold ammo as well. You can buy it for credits. Look at this. You can buy it for credits. Some people do not know this, but you can. No. I'm not equipping this tank just yet. I don't have enough credits to properly do it, but it does look pretty, doesn't it? So basically we are waiting for the room invite, which should be up any moment now. And then we get to go to the first matchup of the evening, which is... There you go, room invite. It is Pincer versus JJ. So that is who we are starting up against. I'm so far the only one there. But we still have like 4.5 minutes left to go before we actually go into the battle. So this is good. They have plenty of time to enter the room and ready up. And there they go. And we'll see how this will go. We are starting off on Openstadt. Earlier today we had a very weird map pool thing where both the first, well, technically it was the second match and the third match started off on Winter Malinovka, which was quite useless. But yeah. No system is perfect. And we see that Pincer is going for a very heavy lineup with an E100 and 2 mice. It will be interesting to see what they do with that. Well, actually, no. We know what they do with it. Of course, they're going to hold city around base B. Or maybe even push base C. Or maybe the river. But overall, around the area around base B is where you put these kind of heavies. And it's actually a good map for those kind of things. I love driving... Well, actually, I love driving fast tanks all around. But on Openstadt, I like driving a fast tank and then going to either just cap base C or going to base A as I should. But basically, if your enemy has more mets than your team, I tend to want to go the other way, where I play to my team's strengths rather than my own. And this is something that a lot of people don't do, actually. They will look at the team they don't look at the team composition. And based on the map, they say where they want to go based on what their tank can do. But there are maps and tank combinations that you have, and team composition that you have, that will be much stronger on the other side. And even though that doesn't necessarily play to your strengths, it will let your team live longer, so it makes your chances of survival bigger. So yeah, that's just something to take with you. In the meantime, Pincer has readied up with an E100, 2 mice, an IS-4, a Sherry, a T22 medium, and a 268. And they're going to go up against an E3, 3 IS-4s, a 268, a 113, and a Sherry. And it will be, like I said, I fully expect Pincer to focus the BC area with potentially external in the Sherry, going more towards base A, more to spot than anything else, and to just relocate, because that tank is so fast. It can go there and it can get away from there without losing too much HP. Whereas with the lineup that JJ is using, they can basically go anywhere on the map, but I would expect them to sort of be like A and B more than B and C. So we have just over a minute left to go before we go into the first matchup of this evening. And... oh, sorry. I try not to do this on stream, but sometimes it can just like, surprise you, sneak attack, that kind of stuff. And it happens at this time of night, I can't really blame myself. In the meantime, I've not yet received a stream link from Fishy, but be sure to check his channel out as well, because it's definitely going to be worth it, and he knows the NA scene better than I do, and that has everything to do with the fact that he has played for the NA server, he has been competitive, he knows his shit. So definitely check him out. I will post a link to his channel later on my server so you can check it out, because I can't give NA, well, I give NA as much as I can, but I know that it's not gonna be 100% because basically the time zones, and there's nothing I can change about that. So here we go, 3 seconds before we go into the first match, and let's see what they're gonna do. I like the, well, that's actually the metal rat. And we see some space avatars there. That's the camo. The paintball camo on the mouse there in Konki. It looks so sexy. It is the best camo in my opinion. And it looks fantastic on the Spaghetti 46. So if you still have your certificate from watching the Twisted stream, use it on the Spaghetti 46. You won't be disappointed. And as a tier 8, it's not very likely to get a legendary camouflage anytime soon. So I was completely wrong. They're actually focusing on the BC area, JJ. And as such, the Sheridan is there to spot. It does not find the other Sheridan. And we have the mice and the E100 holding in the city. Edgy has lost a tiny little bit of HP, but not much. And we see the mice taking holding positions. And this is something that I love, because they're in positions where they can build on each other Tommy leaving the scene and losing quite some HP over it, but Edgy loses a lot more and is overall not looking all that healthy. Zyko losing a tiny bit of HP, base A now being kept, and I kind of wonder, he takes a hit from the Sheridan there, but he continues to cap because they can't really afford not to cap at this stage. Lone is running off. He's kept him from capping long enough to get them about a tank's advantage worth of points. And Pincer will have to make a move to either get that advantage back. And we see both Tommy and External hightailing it back towards their team. Just as Lone here is all alone, watching over their rear. And Edgy in the 113 is up and safely hidden. The IS-4s are in good positions. Edgy is basically the safe call for Pincer to go towards, but it can cost him a lot of HP. Oh! Tommy not looking too good there. And we see now External heading in. And basically Pincer is just going full on aggression now. And let's see, he still survives, but barely. And we see just Pincer being very conky, just losing it straight off. There goes External. Not sure what's happening here. They're just basically giving it away. And they will need to focus fire a lot in order to get this back, because Tommy is almost gone. He's not going to survive much longer. They are stealing the base. But Killer is showing his weak side to the enemy. They're keeping Tommy alive, but he's not going to be surviving much longer. They need to get the Sheridan out of the way. Killer has been taken out. Basically, the big armored tanks are being taken out. There goes Tommy for all their hopes and dreams. And Zaitu is going after Lone rather than killing off the gun that is shooting his teammates repeatedly. And he does take him out. Base C is being recaptured. The E100 is going after the 268. The 268 is going after the 268. And that is a big tracking shot that is very important at this stage. And the Sheridan survives. They need to take out those one-shots, guys. Komi is gone. And there goes the 268. He is very lucky. But Saito is still taken out before he can shoot the Sherry. And Gold is not in any position to do much of anything. He tries to take out the Sheridan, but it's to no avail. And we don't even get to see him miss out. It is actually Zyko that takes out Gold. That was like a complete YOLO match. I have no idea why they went that. Why they did that. And just so you know, if Pincer gets knocked out, I get knocked out too. So that would be like the shortest stream ever. So hopefully the next match will get better, because I will want to stream for a lot longer than this. I did not stay up this long to just stream one tournament match. So come on, guys. And we see that Pincer is now taking 2 IS-4s, an E100, 1 mouse, a Sheridan, a T22 and an E5. And I think that is probably a good call, because it's actually those mice and the E100 that cost them the game. Not necessarily because the players didn't do good, but it's more like they couldn't push in and they were showing all their weaknesses to the enemy as they had to push in to save their teammates. And they're going to go up against 2 268s, 2 IS-4s, a mouse, an E5 and a Sherry. So I'm kind of curious how that will go. In less than 1 minute, 45 seconds to be exact, before you go into the match. And we got to see what happens on the second match on Alpenstadt. And I still don't understand what exactly happened there with Pincer. They pushed in really aggressively, but without the rest of the team being ready for it, I don't know. But they lost so much HP just making that push. And that's just a shame. Hello everyone that's watching, by the way. Hope you are enjoying the stream. Hope you're hoping with me that the next game will go better for Pincer. But here we go, 5 seconds, and then we go into the second game of this matchup, of this best of 3. So it is pretty vital. No pressure, Pincer, no pressure. But we'll see what will happen. And it did just not work out. And that's a tricky part with C. There are so many open planes you need to go through to get to it. So let's see. Like before, we see pretty much most of the teams heading towards base. No, Pincer is actually focusing a lot more on the base A side. Tommy going into the middle, not to cap but more to spot. And he is spotted there, so he has to be a little bit careful. And most of Pincer is there. Tommy losing a big chunk of health there. Going into the battlefield. 268 has been spotted, does lose some HP. So does Tankiller. They are capping base A. Again, very aggressive gameplay, but they're losing so much HP so early on. They're taking chances that they really do not need to. Doomy being pushed on. And he is pulling back. Taking a shot. Trying to not lose too much hit point. He is still a mouse, but he does lose them. And he's trying to lure them into the line of fire of more of their team. Base B now being capped. Kakati is moving in, having driven through base B to take out Doomy. And Pincer seems hopelessly lost. We see a missile that misses. And Doomy not looking healthy at all. And there he goes. That is the first gun out of the way. JJ. Making this a very, very short stream for me if this continues and Pincer does not have an answer. But they are murdering the E100 there. And more guns are pushing in. Base B is being kept. Not sure what Saito is doing. There goes Tankiller. And HP wise, there's not all that much, about 1.5k. But look at this. This is 4 guns. Pushing on 1 gun. And they are killing that E5. But Killer is being killed a lot faster. And they have to be careful not to drop down at this stage, because that will make them lose so much HP. There goes Killer. He survived a lot longer than I thought he would. And we have Edgy now being focused on, shot to hell. And External hightailing it out of there. As long as he survives, they could potentially have this, but they need to be careful. It is now 4 versus 3. Pincer could potentially have this if they are careful. And they are going after the 268 there. Or attempting to, and that's going to hurt a lot. Zaitu basically YOLOing to try and take out the 268. But they take out Tommy after all. And Zaitu not looking too healthy either. And it is 2 versus 2. And as long as they take out Zyko first, that bounce though. And they could potentially have this. Are we going to see a missile hit here? No, it's a missile bounce. But we are at 830 points. And he's trying to protect... Sorry, he's trying to protect Psycho, which is a good thing. He really needs to. Oh, but that was close. And they need to make sure that all the shots span. We are 900 points. But at this stage, there you go. This is also that camo, by the way. But this is tricky work for both of them. And actually helps that James drove back, because if they're driving out of the base, that means that Pincer gets points from the base again. So as long as he's not in the base, they should have this. And that bounce means that Pincer wins this game. Oh my god. Sorry for the coughing. I have a really dry itch in my throat right now. It sounds a lot more dramatic than it is, I assure you. It's kind of something that happens generally when I get little sleep. And look at the difference in damage. There's 2 damage more on Pincer's team than on the other. But we get to go into a tiebreaker now, so that's a good thing. It's not over yet, and we get to go to Port Bay. And Pincer has readied up for Port Bay with a T62A, 2 E5s, 2 IS4s, a Sherry and a T22 medium. And they're going to go up against 2 IS4s, a mouse, a 268, potentially 2 E3s. No, it is 3 IS4s, a mouse, a 268, an E3, and a Sherry. So it will be interesting to see what they do with that. Because again, no pressure. If Pincer is knocked out, so am I. So let's hope that they will take this home so that we go through to the next round. But they kind of need to play a bit more patiently. They are playing very impatiently, and it's costing them a lot of hit points very early on. And even the last game, it was so close. And it didn't need to be. So let's see how is this going to go. Basically, there's people cheering for JJ in the clan, and they, to be fair, they are performing really well. I just don't want my stream to end that quickly. But so far JJ seems to be playing better than Pincer, and that's something that I'm not used to from Pincer. Pincer is one of the clans that have been around for a very long time, have played competitively for a very long time, and yes, players have changed all around, but still. Let's see what's going to happen in this tiebreaker battle. Oh, there's my spaghetti. It does look pretty like this as well, but I do love the paintball camo so much. It just looks so good. You got it actually if you watched like the offline Twister stream for 7 hours or something it was. So you had to watch for a very, very long time. And I got it through other means because I couldn't actually watch that stream because I was in it. But yeah. So we see JJ and Pincer heading primarily towards base A. We have Eternal looking to see if anyone is there, but aside from Lone, no one seems there. So we see early caps happening on both sides. And Pincer is waiting behind the wall. And now they have been spotted. They are pushing through. They are decapping the base, but at the same time, if they had been shooting the same target, they would have done so much more damage. Zyko being shot at, but deflecting shots quite nicely. It's nice to see these traces because you see exactly who they're shooting at. And so they both have a base, but because Pincer kept their base early, they have an advantage. And we have Kakati now in position to do some shooting in return. Tankkiller repositioning himself, wanting to get shots into that mouse. More shots happening. Assassin Killer moving in. It's kind of overkill, isn't it? Assassin Killer. Tankkiller being looked at by the mouse. A little bit of HE damage there. Nothing much. And we have the Mets at the other side, wanting to get crossfire in. And Pincer could just wait it out and make JJ make a move. The Mets are being very careful there, Lone keeping an eye on them. And this is a nice hold down position for these three, with Tankkiller watching over the buildings. So let's see, that is a good hit into the mouse. And he is pushing. And I have a feeling JJ is now moving. You see the whole team moving, and that means that Pincer needs to move quickly and they need to focus fire. And they are still not shooting the same target. Now they are. But they need to be careful. There's more JJ guns there. But there goes Assassin Killer. The mouse being ignored for now. They are going after Zyko, with the T-22 going after the Sherry. And Zyko is almost gone, but not before Doomy has been taken out. There goes Zyko. The Sheridan landing a big hit. And we see Gold steadily losing HP. HP is being lost all around, but JJ has lost so much health. There's more than double the health on Pincers. This is Pincer taking it much more seriously. Going for that focus fire. Taking out the IS-4. Leaving the mouse for last. Because you want to keep the juicy targets. Basically get them out of the way sooner. And we see one Sherry ramming the other Sherry before blowing up. And the mouse is the last one there. And we see a missile flying in, but he is not the one that gets the kill. And Pincer takes it home. So Pincer is through to the next round, which is good for us. Whew. But this was pretty close. I like actually, well, actually no. You see about nearly 10k difference in damage. This was Pincer being Pincer as I know them. So let's see, I'm actually going to refresh the chart, see what is happening in the app. Rain is through a straight Achu. The name though. Is first up Primal, which is Achu is Pincer's second team. And I would just like to point out that the name and the clan were made before the whole virus broke out. So just so you know, it's not them being utterly disrespectful. And Resistance is still going up versus Rain's other team. And we don't know yet who we are up against. We need to know we are up against Purple. So Void has actually been knocked out by Purple. So we have Pincer versus Void versus Purple. Sorry, next. Let's see. They are not registered yet. In 14 minutes, that means I can show you about one replay. Let's see, what do I have for you? Let's actually do this one then. Again, like I said, apologies for brain derps and stuff. I do my best, but it is very, very early. This is a tank that I absolutely adore. It is one of those tanks that I actually free XP'd the whole lineup because I couldn't. I'm a lazy grinder. I hate grinding. It's boring. I just want a tank. At the same time, I do understand why you have to work for it. So that is why I have a lot of free XP. And I'm not afraid to use it. So let's see. He is using the speed boost. That's generally the third consumable that I use as well. He now has... Oh, that poor guy. And he's getting tracked as well. That is going to hurt a lot. Nice hit into the E1. You have to be a little bit careful because people can actually shoot you in the face when you're in the T-57 Heavy. And he is reloading his clip now. Not yet decided whether or not he's going to turn around. In this case, he's showing a lot of weakness to the enemies on top of the hill. And he is still... He can now shoot the guy if he shows enough. There you go. And that is the end of that E100. He has now been spotted and he does take a hit for it. And he's reloading his clip, which in this case, he could have saved it because there's plenty of enemies. At the same time, it's a lot more effective if he can clip someone. And that is the end of the E1. And we know that there's some TDs back there camping, so they have to be careful with that. No idea how that panned actually. He got a bit lucky with that one. And the FE is going complete YOLO because never mind that there's big TDs back there and you have absolutely no armor and you're a very large target. And then he bounces. And he's still alive, but just don't ask how. Nice pen. It's kind of like, this shouldn't be penning. Because it's kind of evil that it does. And again. And the E75 is nicely making use of that. And the shitborn here is going to die soon. He can't survive much longer like this. He's already survived a lot longer than I thought he would. So there we go. Nice kill shot. And now we have the Conway moving in. And already he's reloading his clip. This is something that... Yes, I'm all for reloading your clip when you have the time. But at the same time, he has so much... so many tanks in front of him. He doesn't need to do that. And now he's leaving his teammate to go after that E4. And not quite sure how I feel about that. Nice hit there. And they've both shot. So he kind of just needs to push in and get this guy out of the way. E100 needs to take a shot as well. There you go. And we are now 3 versus 5 for in favor of Fufu's team. Oh, 4 versus 3. In the meantime, the chat is talking about rerolls. I have several accounts. I only have one official reroll. And that is actually the leader of our recruit clan. Fufu wants the E100 with him. I'm not sure if he's going to listen. So far he's staying behind on his building quite nicely. The grill is flanking around. Has been spotted for it. Taking a big hit for it. And Fufu is turning around to help deal with the grill. But he has to be careful not to get murdered because of it. In this case he could be shooting HE. But he does get the kill with that. And to avoid getting shot he's actually turned around. The E100 gets that hit in. And the Conway gets murdered by the waffle. This is something I also don't quite get. He could easily take a hit and get into position. But in this case it probably is better with the teammates that he has that he avoided that. Because he can clip the E75. And the closer he gets, the easier that will be. So he just needs to make sure that the shots pen. And it's actually the Leo PTA that steals the kill here. And the Radley. But Fufu has 4 kills and 6.4k damage. But 1570 basic speed, that is very nice. Nearly 5 minutes to game. But very well played by Fufu. And someone just came into the chat, Brian H, to say that Pincer has been struggling with technical issues, lag and stuff. We did see Eternal say that in the chat. And though that explains something, I'm not sure that explains the very early push the first game. But I'm glad. Well, this sounds wrong. I'm glad it's technical issues. Sounds really wrong. I don't mean it like that, but more like that they're agreeing that this is not the Pincer that we know. So I'm actually glad that they've some issues and just haven't gone like complete YOLO. But the last match worked out a lot better and it was played a lot more patiently. So that definitely worked out. So let's see. I'm not playing any games in the meantime. That has everything to do with the fact that I literally cannot play PC to save my life. And the room invite should be up soon, so I'm just gonna stay here. Let's go over actually what's in the store. This is a good bundle. It's a tank that I absolutely loathe and hate. I don't like this tank. The only thing I like about it is that even though it doesn't have a turret, it can look from left to right quite far before the tank starts turning. But overall, I don't like this tank at all. The value of the bundle, though, is pretty good. And if you're a master of TDs, you could potentially like this. I used to play TDs all the freaking time, but these days I'm just not enjoying them as much. I prefer the mediums and the lights. Then of course you have, it's actually no invite yet. Then you have these crates. This is something I cannot advise you to get, mainly because of this specific thing. The drop chance is 4%, and that's 4% for any of the tier 10s together. So even if you get into that 4% and manage to pass the 96%, that means that you wouldn't get it. You might not get the tank that you actually want. So I'm not a fan of that at all. These are the same thing. This is the one that we already talked about. I absolutely love the Spaghetti Lorraine. It's not a bad tank. It's not a tank that I particularly fancy. If I have to choose between these two, I would definitely go for the Spaghetti. But then I really love the auto reloaders. It's a system that I love. It's something new, but it's like it sort of works like a like an auto loader, but slightly different. And you don't have to reload your whole clip, because it's just that on its own. You have to take a max bundle, which is also, it's a good value bundle if you don't have the tank and you like it. Well, this is all useless. Then you have this stuff. Well, that's relatively cheap. This bundle, I used to love both these tanks. That is before 5.5 and before they basically ruined the whole low tiers. But the T127 used to have a, there you go. Used to have a really good clip, but all the clips have been nerfed to have only 2 shells, which makes them pretty much useless. So yeah, not a big fan of those two. Locust also used to be quite nice, but just low tiers have been completely ruined. So just under 4 minutes left before we go into the, well, technically it's the third, but for us it's the second matchup of this evening. Or this night, depending on who you're talking to, because time zones. And we are going onwards to Canal. Absolutely love Canal as a map. It is one of the big maps. Wargaming had said at some point that all the maps are actually the same size, but some maps definitely feel so much bigger than the others. Like Dynasty's Pearl feels absolutely tiny. New Bay feels absolutely tiny. But Canal is one of those maps that feels a lot bigger. And it's the same with Normandy. It also feels a lot bigger than most. And for Canal, we see that Pincer is taking 3 IS-4s, a 268, a Sherry, an STB and an E5. STB is one of those tanks that has been sort of making an appearance again this tournament season. I quite like that. As a tank, I absolutely adore it. I love the way that it can work ridges. It has that little bit of turret armor and has just amazing view range, gun depression and stuff. But it's not one of the most competitive tanks, mainly because it's not a brawler. It cannot brawl. That doesn't work with this tank. So it's nice to actually see it make an appearance again, even if mainly as a spotter, which on a map like Canal with all these different heights and hills, it can work out beautifully. And they're going to go up against Purple in an E100, an E5 and Mouse, 2 IS-4s and 2 Sheridans. So that's also going to be interesting to see, because those Sheridans, if they focus fire together and they start shooting the same tank together with maybe 1 or 2 more, they can basically murder a tank with each reload. And it's something that I like Pincer's team composition more, because it's more mobile, so it can basically do more stuff. But the E100 and the Mouse can hold quite nicely together. And I would expect them to be around base C. Whereas with ours, if I'm reading it right, we start in the north spawn. And that means that we will likely see some B and D action with this lineup. At the same time, they could be going to A, because we have seen so many map dominances where it's A and B get together and basically C is decapped strictly and completely the whole time, which has led to some massive defeats to clans that you thought would definitely going to be bringing it home. But now we have just over a minute left to go before we go into the match, and we get to see what is happening on this map. But yeah, because of the size, It is basically one of my more favorite maps. It's just, for me, I don't like the small maps. I like when people can actually drive around and do stuff some more, and these kind of maps work better for me than the city maps and all of that. I like the hills and the peaky booming and all of that. And that's something that just can't happen all that well on the city maps. It's also why I've never really liked Himmelsdorf. Yes, I've had some... sorry. I've had some epic battles on it, but as a map, I'm not particularly fond of it. So 30 seconds left to go before we start this matchup, and we actually get to see what they do with these lineups. And if I'm right in my prediction that the Mouse and the E100 will haul around C. I'm actually more curious about what Pincer will do, whether they will focus the A side or the D side. Because with this lineup you can pretty much do either. And you can get away with doing either. So here we go, the countdown clock has started, and just checking the OBS to make sure that there's nothing on the stream. And here we go. And let's see. Pincer now all using the same avatar. Rats. That's sort of like a double entendre, isn't it? Well, not necessarily a shifty meaning, but still. Double meaning. Yes, I agree. Let's see what is going to happen here. And we see purple heading towards base A. And we see that basically Pincer is doing the same thing with the STB on top of the hill there, functioning as sniper. Base B being kept. And that means Pincer will have a point advantage. We see some fire happening into Conky and can't be good. But they don't get any shots in. Sorry, I'm so sorry guys. I will take a cough drop after this. I do have some gum in my mouth, but it's not enough. Base A now also being capped, and that means that Pincer will have a definite advantage here. We see the Ice Force pulling back. And the Mouse taking a little bit of damage. But Pincer has definitely an advantage here, both in cap points and in bases. So that advantage will only get bigger. Because with the STB there and the E5, they kind of have to decap it at the same time. It is 2 Sheridans, and this is gonna hurt. And the E5 is arriving. And I think they were hoping to basically, there you go, now they're moving in. They're pushing the Sheridans out. We have Comey shooting him at the back. And Space Dog is going to be a preferred target here. He manages to survive, but barely. And the STB takes a hit. We see a missile, and it hits. Teddy also losing HP. Purple is pushing up and over. But overall, Space Dog is nearly reloaded, and it will be about who hits who the first. And it is Space Dog that takes out Eternal. Both teams have lost some guns now. And base B is being stolen. They kind of need to take out Space Dog here, because he is dangerous where he is. Tommy has been taken out. There you go, Space Dog finally is taken out. He survived a lot longer than he should have. And we are going up and over to view this. Comey is not going to survive for much longer here. But there's not much that can be done about that. He is driving down, survives a few seconds longer. Captain Harlock has been... He actually still survives. But Comey is not going to survive the next shot. And Captain Harlock falls down there. And Conky is trying to protect Comey. It didn't work. But it is 4 versus 2. Pincer has 3 bases. They should definitely have this. They are focusing. And there you go. And now Quarantine is trying to get Tank Killer. But I'm not sure he's going to be able to get him. Because Tank Killer is pulling away. And is going to get a big shot into him as well. And Can't Be Good is actually keeping him from shooting the 268. And there we go. Quarantine has been taken out. That sounds so wrong on so many levels in this age and day. And the first match is for Pincer. And this goes to show that the whole having the same avatar could potentially work out for you. Come on, ready up. There you go. My game is a little bit slow. I clicked on that like a few seconds ago. So right, cough drop. I need to like quickly collect that. I have some, so that's a good thing. I just need to grab them. And again guys, I'm sorry because this is not the kind of noise that you want to hear on stream. But at the same time, I can't really avoid it. And it's mainly the time of night, stupidly enough. Because during the day I do have a cold, but it's not like this. But yeah. With just over a minute left to go, I have a cough drop. And Pincer has read it up in 3 IS4s, a 268, a Sherry, an STB and a T22 medium. And they're going to go up against 2 AMX 50Bs, a 215B, 2 IS4s, a 268 and a Sherry. And then we will see what happens in this game in about 40 seconds. So that's quite soon. No, it's not. Basically, my health sucks. I've had a cold for over a year. And I've actually been sort of self-isolating for weeks now. So it's not that. It's mainly lack of sleep and stress. But yeah, in 12 seconds we get to go into the match again. The countdown clock has started. We are ready for the next game. And let's see what is going to happen here. Sheridan in the competition does actually do really, really good. And it is something that I think we will see a lot more. Because especially if you see like the shots that Toby managed to do with it. And that's in pub battles. But we have seen some trick shots in the tournaments as well. And it's ridiculous. I feel so much like I hope so much that they take the missiles out of the game. Keep the tanks. Balance them properly. Give them normal guns. So we now see that they are going to cap base C together, which I think is a very good call because it has been decapped so much that they need to get it quickly and just then get the blip out of there. Fat is moving in, but they've already taken the base. And Fat is actually losing some HP crossing over there. Base A is being capped. Base B has been capped. Base C is now being capped. And in this case, Purple will have a point advantage, but will be very, very slight. So let's see. We saw some thunder over there. Tiger Cup has dropped down. He's basically there to protect base B. Fat is there to spot anyone trying to cross over. So basically, Purple has locked down the map. And Pincer will have to make a move at one point or another. But it's going to be very costly for them to push either which way. But actually, Pincer has a tiny point advantage here. Like split second. But a split second could be enough. And we have the STB in a... Let's see, look at this. This is not how you want to drive an STB. At the same time, when it comes to tournaments, it is so different than pub battles. And any tank in any position could be worth it. So Pincer is holding. We see some blind shots happening. And they are basically just being careful. Blind shots again. They are expecting people to be in that bush. And the thing is that if Seitu has been paying attention, I'm pretty sure he will have been. He will have seen the shots hit dirt, so he knows that they're shooting, that they're blind shooting that spot. Conky has been spotted, but so has Captain Harlock, and he loses some HP almost immediately. But Conky has to be a little bit careful there. More shots into him. And in the meantime, the Sheridan is pushing. And he immediately loses most of his health for it. Oh my god. And he's like, nope. And he's getting the blip out of there. But that almost caused the tiny bit of, it almost gave Pincer a lot more advantage. Because it's a difference of a gun. He will have spotted some of them. And they will know where some of them are. But HP wise, that is not looking good for purple. So let's see. Harlock is still there. Conky is still there. They're not seeing each other at this stage. We see the STB lose some HP over it. We have the Clippers that are moving in. Purple is making a move. And they're going to go after... Oof. Captain Harlock is losing more HP. Tommy is being sacrificed. Because they are pushing him. And he can't really do much of anything over here. External is losing a lot of HP as well. Base C is being stolen. Captain Harlock is almost gone. And the STB is getting the blip out of there. Captain Harlock has been taken out. We are near 900 points. They are hoping to take out a gun. But External gets taken out first and Tommy straight after. And now Purple has the definite advantage. And every shot at this point has to count. And it doesn't. Can't be shook derping that shot. But Space Dog. Oh my god. He is taken out. And now you have to make sure this shot pans. And he has to make sure that he survives itself. And he takes it out and oof. 950 points. Base C is not necessarily being taken, but they're not getting points from that. They need to take out, they can't afford any more casualties here. But they do, and Purple gets the match. And that was so close. If one of them had rolled higher and taken out DJ, it would have been all very different. But Purple takes home this match. And this was close. Also guys, don't joke with the disease, honestly. There's a lot of people dying from it, and I hope you're staying home and you're staying safe and you're staying healthy. But yeah. 1.5 minutes left to go before we go into the tiebreaker in Mayan Ruins. Mayan Ruins is one of those maps that I can love it and I can hate it. It kind of depends on the team that I have. And what tank that I'm driving in, to be fair. And we see lineups changing a little bit, but overall... My willpower is off the charts like dang. Batignol Tatillon Jar 25T says that is like the most impronounceable name. It's a French name. My French is a bit rusty. I haven't had it since high school, and I will admit that I actively cheated in French in high school because I just hate it's like this is the rule for grammar and this is the 1000 exceptions that are to it. And then why do you have the rule to begin with? But yeah. But let's see. With half a minute left to go, Purple has readied up in 2 E100s, an E5, a 268, an IS4, an STB, and a Sherry. And they're going to go up against 2 IS4s, an E5, a Sherry, another E5, a Mouse, and a T22 medium. Similar lineups with the difference of an E5 and an E100. 60 seconds left to go before you go into the match. And then we get to see who is going to take it home now. In 5 seconds we get to see this match. The final match of Purple versus Pincer. Fingers crossed. Because again, if Purple is knocked out, if Pincer is knocked out, so am I. So I'm rooting for Pincer in more than one way here. And look, just look, this camo, it's so sexy. I love it. I want it in all my tanks. It's colourful, it's cheerful, I love it. And let's see what is going to happen here. Tank Killer moving with the speed boost of the E5 towards base B. And we have Can't Be Good together with Zaitu heading towards base C. And they might find DJ Purple there. And whereas Can't Be Good gets spotted, DJ Purple does not. But he is going in for the cap. And that is the first hit. Both sides Missile misses. Captain Harlock is being pushed back. And DJ and the STB are moving around and getting intercepted by... He is pulling away. Where did you go? Oh, there you are. Sorry, Zaytu in the T-22. And Pincer has the base, so they have the advantage there. Sheridan is relocating. Captain Harlock is losing a little bit of HP there. And we have the mouse in the E-100 pushing on the mouse and bouncing on him. They kind of have to be careful though, with the mouse looking the other way. Oof. A little bit of an exchange here. Base B is being capped. And we have Pincer moving in. Taking a lot of HP very quickly from multiple tanks. Conky is gone. But HP wise, Pincer has an advantage of about a K. Captain Harlock not looking too healthy, but still alive somehow. Tank killer. There goes Harlock. DJ and the STB are almost gone. There goes Titanium. Not so much Titanium there. And there goes Tank killer. Both teams have lost 2 guns. HP wise it is so close. Point wise Pincer has the advantage. And external is not looking too healthy here. But neither is Teddy. God guys, I'm so sorry. I'm not enjoying this any more than you do, I promise you. Base B is being stolen. The mouse is not looking too good. Zaytu still alive. The Sheridan chasing after the Sheridan. Zaytu taking cover behind the mouse. But still losing HP over it. And probably can't be good. It's gonna be deleted now. But DJ is actually not letting that happen here. I think he missed it. And he's running off. There goes Zaytu. It is 3 versus 3. Can't be good is gone. But so is Fat. It is 2 versus 2, but HP wise Pincer has a definite advantage. And they will not. That not panning is very vital at this point. Tiger Cup going down to survive a little bit longer. But neither of them is looking very healthy right now. And he does get a hit in. But with Pincer having 2 bases, they are definitely going to go through. And DJ gets to run off. And maybe survive the match. And that not penning is all the worse. And basically all they need to do is survive. And the ice for... Ooh, that misses though, and that bounced though. And that will do it, the ram kill ending with the tank with the pretty camo. So Pincer takes it home, is through to the next round. And basically what is happening is that for some reason, it doesn't really matter how much I drink, if I have too little sleep, my throat gets really dry when I talk a lot. And even drinking soda does not help that. So hence why I'm coughing here and there, and I'm very sorry for it. Nothing much I can do about it. It's not corona, I swear to you. I've had a cold for over a year because of my autoimmune diseases. And because I have a lot of autoimmune diseases, I've been incredibly careful. So trust me when I say that it won't be that, because this is something that I've had for more than a year. And it plays up when I've not had enough sleep. And when I'm up in the middle of the night talking a lot. So that's usually why I have chewing gum in my mouth. And usually it's enough. But tonight it's not. Ooh, can I actually bite that? Yes, I can. I had that up for on my EU press account as well. And I do have the tanks, I just did not have the camo. It's a press account, so it's supposed to have all the tanks. But yeah. Right now, normally you wouldn't even hear me But because I have to stream a tournament right now, I can't avoid coughing a little bit. But yeah, like I said, I have a cough drop, so hopefully that will help soon enough. And we just have to see who are we up against next. It's Pincer versus Rain on one side and Rain versus Primal on the other side. So that's gonna be cool, actually. Means that Brian and Fishy are now meeting in stream, in game. But regardless of what's going to happen now, they will we will all stream a full stream, because if either Rain or Primal loses, they will go through to the third place match, and so will Pincer. So all of that is just good. So let's see, in 10 minutes that means I'm not going to be showing you another replay. Oh my god. Someone said Dwarf actually hit it, but it was funny. You have, hand to God, the best bedroom and oh my god, passionate voice that is the end of the day excuse to have nocturnal emissions, no offense. That has to be just about the funniest matches I've ever seen. It's dirty and it's creepy, but it's funny as well. Oh my god. But yeah. Basically, once I've had enough sleep again, and that should go okay again, and my throat will return to normal again. Because if you watch back my earlier streams, I will have like a light sniffle maybe, but you won't hear anything else. And I know this is kind of disgusting, but I just want to basically assure you that I'm actually just fine. This is something that I have frequently and have had for years, so yeah. Let's see, what other bundles have we got? Oh yeah, god, we can talk about this. We can rage about this, actually. We have a drop chance of 3% for a tier 5 tank that isn't even good. The only thing that is good about this tank is the fact that it has a broken credit coefficient, so it earns a lot of credits. But it's not particularly good. It's not particularly good to drive. It doesn't perform particularly well. It's not really good. And then you have 3% drop chance, and that is just utterly useless. So, yeah, don't go for these. Really, don't. So let's see. Oh, that's actually because I got the camo. But yeah, we do have to enjoy this little beauty. And in a few minutes we will get a room invite. But yeah. So I'm sorry for my cold making into these streams. I've been doing my very best not to let it, preparing and everything. But in this case, it's like, nope, you're getting this. But oh well. Basically, I'm gonna show you something funny. This is something that I find funny. It says that I have a 72.58% win rate in 222 battles. But if you look at the actual stats, you will see that I've actually had 62 battles, and that 161 of my battles have been tournament battles. Considering I do not play tournaments with press accounts, as that is not allowed, those have all been battles that I've streamed. So yeah, that is just something that I generally find funny. This is weird, look at it. It starts, it becomes like black stripes, and then you look at like this, and it's like these little tank parts. It is such a nice tank though. It just kind of looks, I'm just gonna go like, fashion show. What looks good? This looks good. Not everything looks good though. This looks okay. There's a lot of camos that I feel don't work with this tank. It's mainly because of the edge, because if you look at this is a good example. You see all those metal edges, it just doesn't seem to fit. And it's the same with this one. This one works better. Ollie will swear to the cat camo. This looks good. Let's actually get this. It's a joy for press account. You can just spend gold on whatever you want. I just felt like going for the star night thingy camo. Mainly because of the gravity event that we have going on. But this looks actually better on the tank itself. So, now we just wait. The room invite should be up in a few minutes. Let's see. In 2 minutes, I believe it will be. There you go, 6 minutes. So that means that in 3 minutes the room invite will be up. We have to be a little bit patient. I don't do the whole playing in between thing. I generally try to show you replays instead, and that has more to do with the fact that I can't play PC to save my life. My coordination with console is fine, on touch it is fine, but when I have to do completely different things like moving the mouse with one hand and keyboard keys on the other hand, I struggle a lot. That's also why I'm already happy enough that I can operate the free camera. I remember that the first time that I streamed a tournament, I was actually not doing that. I was just sticking to the tank and just looking around them. But the free camera does make it a lot more interesting to stream, because I love showing the bird's eye view, because you can read a lot better what the teams are doing and why the teams are doing this. So that is something that I generally enjoy. Let's see, we just have to wait a little bit longer. I'm a bit bored at this stage, but I can't really, there's not much to talk about. There's no real, it's not super close yet for the top 8. There's no real pressure there. And basically, there's not much to talk about. Later on in the tournament, it's going to be a lot more interesting, because you have because then the cups are going to be a lot closer and the battle for place 8 will be a lot more intense. But right now, there's not really much to it yet. In the meantime, I do have a message. I don't check messages on stream, and that has everything to do with the fact that it could be private, you don't know. So I never check messages. I will check after the stream what was said there. So a few more minutes before we get the room invite. I'm actually going to prepare another cough drop, because once this has started, it generally doesn't go away all that easily. Just preparing a few, so I don't need to get the bag every time. I believe that RGN, as in with the dashes, is the second clan. Because basically, it's kind of like NA server has like these super nations of clans. And Rain is a little bit of one, and you have Pincer, and you have Primal. Primal is a huge family. There's so many clans connected to Primal. And it makes a very big difference. Because you can only have one team per clan to make it to the professionals. So most clans have made a different team, a second clan, to be able to use the second team. And there we go, a tournament room. So I believe that this is... Let's have a quick look. Still Rain, see? So I believe that this is still Rain. Haha, pun intended. And... Oh, no, I do need to wind ready up. And this is just Primal versus... Rain versus Pincer. And in just over 4 minutes we get to go into the battle. And we will see. But yeah, there's a lot of clans that have sort of split up. And this is actually one of the things that I find funny about the EU server. We do not have that. As far as I know, there is no... Well, no, wait. Whip does have it and Immor, but like the main professionals clans that are most likely to go into the professionals with the current standing that is, do not have any second teams. They focus on just one team. But that is also why there's generally people moving about in between seasons to basically find a team before it actually starts, because you want to be part of that main team, otherwise you're not part of the team for that clan at all. So let's see. Just over 3 minutes left to go before we go into the next matchup. And after this we will either meet Fishy on the other side or Brian. So that's going to be fun either which way. And both teams are now completely ready for New Bay. New Bay, one of the maps that I like less. I do like the fact that you have like near base A, you have the different heights and the ramps and everything that makes for interesting positioning. That's the same part of Faust that I love, but Faust is the whole map of it, and New Bay just has one part of it. And New Bay also feels like one of those small maps. It isn't that small, but it definitely feels very small. And basically, also Rain has readied up in 3 AMX 50Bs, an IS-4, a backchat, and 2 mice. So that's a lot of clippers, which is a risk, but at the same time could work out really well. And on the other side, we see a T62A and 2 E5s, a Foch, a Sherry, a mouse, and an IS-4. So that will be interesting to see as well. With just over 2 minutes left to go before we go into the battle. And we just have to be a little bit patient. This is basically always the boring part, and at this time of night I find it difficult to find the subject to talk about in between. So basically I just end up babbling about random stuff. Well, we've already gone through everything in the shop and everything, so there's not really much to talk about. And like I said, the pressure isn't really on yet. And at this stage, whether or not Pincer loses, for the stream health, it doesn't matter anymore, because we will have a 3rd place match after that. And if Pincer wins, we get to go to the finals, so all of that is good. You activate the free camera in spectator mode on PC with Ctrl V. And then you can adjust the speed with Ctrl and then one of the numbers 1 to 9. And you can switch to players with 1 to 9 or space 1 to 9. And you use the WASD keys to move the camera around, while R and F go up and down. And the mouse basically points your face. I'm glad you like my stream as the deal for you. So 41 seconds before we go into this match. And then we will see how this will go. I really love Rain as a clan. They're great guys. But this is of course their second team. Their first team is being streamed by Brian tonight. And it will just be overall great fun. So let's see. 10 seconds. Countdown clock is starting. We can finally go into the match. And here we go. Also note, in case you hadn't noticed yet, there's a 5-minute delay on the stream. So there's actually any time that I reply to the chat, you hear it 5 minutes after I've actually said it. TFW is that feeling when and let's see. Oh, praise be to the mighty donut. And if you don't get that joke, you haven't watched the stream on Thursday, where Legion had completely hilarious battles, all surrounding the donut. Of course, at this level, it is a bit more serious. And we see also Rain heading towards the town, primarily focusing on the A side. And we see Pincer do the exact same thing. Oh my god, buildings. We see Pincer do the exact same thing, and the budget is not really safe there. But he is being careful. We see lots of shots happening, and Pincer has already taken a very large chunk of health from SVG. And he has to be very careful here, because otherwise he's going to give Pincer a very early advantage here. And SVG is reloading at this stage. But this is the downside of Clippers. Oh my god, he's nearly gone. And there he goes. Zaitu taking him out in the mouse. And leaving a Clipper here. We have the E5 arriving at the back. This is the downside of taking Clippers. It can work in your favor, it can work out against you so much. And Pincer is pushing in, going after the backchat as well. And there goes the other AMX with the number name. And we see the third AMX being taken out as well. Barely alive. Sheridan is almost reloaded. Is going to take out that backchat. And there we go. And the AMX is still alive with literally 1 HP. Tommy is taken out. And the AMX survives a little bit longer. But there he finally goes. And this game is definitely... I think it's definitely going to be Pincers. I mean, it's 6 versus 3. And 2 of them are mice, but 2 of them are also looking the wrong way. And one of the mice is not very healthy. There you go. And now there's only 1 mouse left. And he kind of has to try and keep them all from murdering him, which is of course not going to go well. And now he's almost gone. And there we go. Very quick first match for Pincer. Wow. And SVG, poor SVG, couldn't even do 1 shot of damage. This is the downside of the clippers. You saw that they did so little. They can do massive damage if they're allowed to clip, but they got like intercepted so early on this stage. So that did not go well. But overall we see that also Rain is not really changing tactics. They're taking 3 AMX 50Bs, 2 mice and a bat chat again. And Pincer is taking 2 IS4s, a 268 and IS7, a Sherry T22 and a mouse. So let's see how that's gonna go. In just over a minute, we get to see what happens with this. Come on, let me go back. There you go. My computer is being like, take it easy with me. CPU is just fine, it's just a bit slow when you switch things. I can talk about a heavy update. Yeah, I can do that next time we wait for the match. Which potentially happens after this battle. And then I can also show you some replays, so it should be okay. "25 seconds before we go into the second match. I'm kind of surprised that Ulcerate is sticking with these clippers because it can work out so badly as we have just seen. But I think they want to show us that it can also go really, really well. And here we go, the countdown clock has started. And let's see how this will go. Pincer is still using the same avatars. Ever since they've started doing that, they've performed a lot better. So I think that's the secret to their success. Oh dear. That's not good, right before a tournament. Overall, when you start playing a tournament, you have to make sure that for every tournament you have at least 1 million credits. Then you at least don't have to worry about the credits that you use. So let's go with the clippers. Batchat doing the same thing as before. He's going to meet some people here. But the AMXs are more to the middle. No one is going up the ramp. This poor Batchat is not going to be very healthy very long. And he's hightailing it out of here. Which is a good call. He just has to be careful that he actually gets out without losing too much HP. And he does lose some HP there. Before he goes into a safe passage. Base C has been taken. But we have a mouse. And now we have an IS7 here. That's also the downside of city maps. You can't get stuck against buildings. There you go. And both teams now have a base. And we see some people slowly losing HP. The Sheridan and the mouse holding together. God, this is annoying. And basically the MXs have to be careful. We have Pincer holding here. Steadily pushing in, having the high ground. The Batchat is steadily being destroyed. And we have the mice holding versus can't be good. Can't be good pulling back. Now Hyun is the preferred target. We have the AMXs going up. Oof, Killer losing a lot of HP here. But they don't seem to be focus firing much. And now the AMXs are both reloading, they're pulling back. The third AMX is moving in. They're going after the IS-7. But it will not be easy for them to take him. Hyun is almost gone, he's actually dropped down. And he's not going to make it like that. There he goes. First gun out of the way. Pincer losing a lot of HP. But they have an overall position advantage. And the AMXs are relatively easy to shoot. We have Komi arriving behind the AMXs, which is gonna wreak havoc. And it's only like FSG only just realized that there's a gun behind him. They take out Tank Killer. But the AMXs are not too healthy. But Pincer seems to be pulling this back. They have a definite HP advantage versus Rain here. And they have a gun advantage as well at that. I can't believe FSG is still alive. At this stage he really shouldn't be. His teammate is trying to keep him alive. And he's actually using... Ooh, he did fire. And the Sheridan missed. Komi is now dead, but it took a long while. And External is still alive. But also Rain only has 2 tanks left. One of them is going to be gone right now. And then we have a mouse that is going to be sandwiched basically from both sides. There's a lot of corpses that you can use for cover, but it's not going to be cover enough versus 3 guns. And the External wants to push in. And now Lyrie being pushed. He's actually chasing the Sherry. He's a bit big and cumbersome to get that done. And now there's only one guy left. One shot. And there he goes. It is the end of Lyrie. And Pincer is through to the finals. So that is a good matchup. I've got another message. This is actually a account that's very difficult to match. I'm actually going to quickly check that. Hang on. Toby, don't do that, seriously. He was actually one of my clanmates that has an NA account being absolutely useless. But yeah. It is currently 4:45 AM. I am looking forward to the finals, and I'm also looking forward to going to bed straight after. So let's see, who are we up against? Do we know yet? Primal and Rain seems to still be happening. Let's have a quick look at when the next match is. Oh, we are at least not getting Hallis. I had Hallis earlier today on EU server, and the free camera is broken on it. So nearly... Well, it's not actually... it's about 20 minutes, thereabouts. Just over. So... that means now I have plenty of time to show you some replays. Let's see, what have I got for you? I will be showing you replays you've already seen before, and I don't even care anymore. Let's see. I actually have some nice... yeah, I'm going to show you a Legion replay. Because I can. And it's an E50M game. And I quite liked it. I still didn't understand. Well, they said they were testing tactics, but I still didn't understand why they went like that so quickly. With the same lineup, with the same autoloaders. When it pretty much has already been proven that it didn't work. That's the kind of stuff you try out during trainings, not in a tournament match. But that might just be me. Some spots already happening. And he does take a shot from that. He was being a bit forwards there, though. Gets another nice shot in. And the T22 misses, so that's always like profit. Nice little bounce as well. For every shot that the enemy doesn't pin you and you pin them, it's basically profit. But he has to be careful because there's bound to be campers at the back. Standard B trying to shoot his face, T22 trying to push through. That actually didn't pan, but the T22 has been taken out. No idea why that panned, because technically I don't think it should have anymore. And there's the Waffle taking a big chunk of health there. T50 Heavy also taking a lot of HP. And in this case you might as well use the gun that is next to you, that is basically cannon fodder to your advantage. Standard B is almost gone. We are already 3k damage into it, ladies and gentlemen. It's going that fast. And you can shoot the T57 in the face, but you need a little bit more patience with that. And the thing is that with these tanks that are behind him, he has to be careful, and he knows that Aggie is one of those players that is just utterly OP. Standard B is almost gone. The TD that is with him. Oof, now Aggie has almost no HP left. And the T57 Heavy is not paying attention to Aggie at all. Which in this case is a good thing, because he's actually just looking around and making it easier to shoot him. But yeah, in EU we had Hellas replay. We had Hellas matches. And the downside of that is that the free camera is broken on it, so you can only hover close to the ground. And that miss though, that could have been quite vital here. But you can shoot a Standard B in the face when you're in E50M, and that works out really well in this case. And he's taking some blind shots into the bushes there. And it's the grill that takes out the T57 Heavy. And that shot actually missed. And that shot missed as well. But overall, Aggie is being very OP. And that shot did not miss. And we are already 5.5k damage into it. So that's saying something about how fast this counter is going up. The Waffle just dropped down though, so you can't really shoot him there. So he can see if he can shoot that M103. And he can, leaving him with very little HP. 2 exactly. And that's the end of the M13. But we have an E6 at the back there. That is pretty healthy. He does take a hit there though. And we are 6.1k damage into it. Absolutely love the E6, by the way. It is at the moment my favorite tank by far. In this case, none of them are too healthy. And they kind of need to work together. And at this stage, the position that Aggie is in is a good one. He is using this little rubble to make himself go hold down. He is wiggling to make it harder to shoot him, even though he does not see the target. But the thing is that if you get spotted, you only know a few seconds later when the light bulb pops up. But there's a few seconds between you being spotted and it actually happening. So if you're not wiggling, you could very easily get shot. And he is very careful. The Standard B is flanking around. And I kind of just need to know where he is. So let's see. Standard B is almost flanked around. Otherwise I need to start capping the base. You need, I think, 1 minute and 50 seconds in order to do that for 40. Because there's at least 100 counts. The grill gets taken out. But he does take a hit into the E6 first. Which is a good thing. But he's in a good position over there. And that shot actually missing could be very vital. And he's not, the A6 is playing this smart. He's not stupid enough to pull back here. But he's not paying attention to Aggie. And the Standard B is getting a shot in. Even if it was with HE and nothing else. And the Standard B is not too healthy either. So basically they're both one-shots. And at this stage I wouldn't trust the Standard B to be able to finish it off if Aggie were to die. So Aggie changing position here is, I think, a very good call. And he's basically just waiting for the E6 to pull back into his shot. There you go, that is one shot. But he still needs a bit more. And this is so lucky. It only hits his tracks. And with that shot with the standard B, the E6 is now a one shot. And Aggie is pulling back and gets the shot in and kills him. And has done an insane amount of damage here. Nearly 7k damage. With 1637 base XP. A little bit of assisted damage as well, which has also helped. A few missed shots and a few bounce shots, but overall he performs so well. It's just a lovely game. In the meantime, I'm going to refresh my cough drop. So hopefully avoid all of that stuff happening again. It's kind of annoying though, because you hear me like I'm doing it on purpose now, but you can hear me lisp because I have something in my mouth. And it's annoying. But yeah, that is one game that I wanted to show you. What else have I got for you? So many good games though. And they're just all lovely. Thing is that at this stage I'm not entirely certain what I've showed on Watchstream. This is like my brain melting, so it kind of makes sense. For me at least. I've already showed you Toby's epic game. Let's actually show you another game as to why missiles need to be removed from the game. We still have time for a replay. And we go to my favorite map. So let's see. I'm sure I've seen this before. The joy of having a very crappy memory is that you don't remember it. And ooh, we're up against Primal in the finals. Rain is up versus Rain in the so that's gonna be interesting. We're gonna meet Fishy. Not very helpful if your team is not starting to drive alongside with you, but now they do. Well, some of them do. Never very hopeful when they're standing still like that. Hopefully they will load in and they will help. He's being very forward. It's not supremacy, so no bases here. He's also driving through all the cover, which can work in your favor or against you, because it might give away your position very early. Shame he didn't take that shot. There you go, and he missed. But he has to be a little bit careful with who might be behind him. Because generally people don't go here when they're alone. And as the badger shows, he is not alone. Let's see. Now you can't actually see him because the badger is hidden again. So you can't fire the missile. And you can see him wanted to fire the missile. There you go. But he's not actually doing it. Badger has in the meantime moved, so he's not even where he wanted to shoot him. And this is something I don't quite understand. Because he's staying in front of them. He could have just gone around them and gotten shots into him like that. But he's not doing that. Like with those missiles, it does help because he's relatively safe, but he could just go around them and shoot AP instead. With the TDs behind though, it could be a bit risky, so I do understand. There's a 113 there now as well. Nice hit. VK is taken out. And 103 getting some shots in as well. And you can't really avoid missiles here at this stage. Because, well, there you go. It does not have to pen to shoot the badger in the front. And of course, it is a heavily armored TD, you're not supposed to shoot it in the front. But the Badger takes out the Object 140. And that's another hit. And the Badger still survives because the M103 was trying to shoot HE in his face, I believe. And they kinda need to take that gun out of the way. And that's a nice little bounce though, and that seals the faith of the Badger. Fate, I should say, not faith. So let's see. That's actually quite nice. Big hit into the waffle. And he's still holding the same position, still getting away with it. He's done nearly 4k damage now. Waffle giving him the evil eye. Oof, that was kind of lucky. 4,444 damage. The waffle going around. And that bounce could be very expensive here. The waffle taking a big hit into the M103. And now we see that the Sherry is just going off after the waffle, wanting to take him out, and he kind of needs to. And that is the end of the waffle. M103 is still alive, just don't ask how. And our Sherry is going to stay behind the 113, getting a big hit into the bum of it. And getting shot in the rear. Kind of has to be careful here though, because you can't afford to lose all that much health. And the M103 actually takes him out. Whereas here we had an E1 versus E1 going on. And they have to be careful. Because yes, he would probably survive an E1 hit, but it could be very costly. And the M103 is going elsewhere, getting proxy spotted by the tank driving above him. And that is the end of the E1. And now we only have an AMX left. And we know where he was because he was on the minimap. So let's see. They kind of have to be careful together because it's a camper to be fair, but still. E1 not exactly happy with his teammate. And there he is, he has been spotted. And in this case he's actually derping the HE shot. But luckily the M103 also gets a shot in. In this case he has to be careful. He can take one shot. But the reload of this tank is also very high, so he has to be very careful with this. He's nearly 7k damage into it. There's a whole 1k more to be had, assuming he survives it. And he's using this time while the AMX reloads. Get the blip away. Which is a good call. Because you could potentially finish him off with the next 1 or 2 shots. And potentially survive it. But that actually does no damage. And the AMX misses. But that is very, very tricky. And the AMX is there. Wanting to get a shot in as well. But it's easier to shoot from the high ground than to the high ground. So he's a little bit lucky here. And also this falling down when you're not completely reloaded yet is very tricky. But he does get away with it and the AMX fires. And that allows him to get the last kill. And he's got 4 kills. 8,212 damage. That is just absolutely nuts. I always find it weird that there's a bit of a difference. Because here it says 8,209. Whereas the ribbon says something else. But I think that has to do with the overall, basically, what you would call it. What do you call it when you round it down? There you go. That's the word I was looking for. 1747 XP. That is just epic. The room should be up soon. No. Okay, it's not clicking. For some reason, the game is a bit slow. There you go. There's a room. And we have Pincer versus Primal. This is like 2 years ago. This was like the matchup yet. Like basically the Pincer family and the Primal family. And that was pretty much all there was to it. And we have Fishy. He still needs to ship me a stream link so I can advertise his streams as well. But once I know his YouTube name, you will know it too. And you should definitely check him out. Because especially for NA, he will be the man to watch. Because he knows the scene a lot more intimately than I do. And it'll be fun. So we are going to Dynasty's Pearl, which is the panda map in my opinion. Because the map actually looks like a panda if you look at it. You see like the little 2 feet at the bottom. You have like the hands on the side. You have a big round panda belly. You have little ears on the top and everything. It's a panda. So a little less than 4 minutes left to go before we go into the finals of this evening. And we get to see who takes it home tonight. Last week I believe it was Pincer that won versus Rain. So it will be interesting to see what's going to happen here. Rain overall would still be my favorite because, well, they have Mo. Mo is pretty much the most epic caller of all time, together with Oop and Josh from the RU server. And they were basically the reason that I adored the offline Twister finals. Because it was really one caller versus the other and the teams trying to read each other's mind. It was amazing. So just over 3 minutes left to go. And we see that Pincer is taking 3 hides, 4 to Sherry and 3 mice. So that is a very heavy lineup. And they're going to go up against what looks like to be 2 mice, a Sherry, an IS-4, 2 E100s and a T22 medium. So that's also a very heavy lineup. But should be fun. And after that, I can go to bed. It is 5 AM right now. So I have to admit, I am a little bit tired. But that's why it's good that it's a Sunday and I can sleep late and I don't need to be out of bed before like 3 PM tomorrow. So I don't really intend to get up anytime before then. So yeah. 2 minutes, 18 seconds left to go. Both teams are ready. I am ready. You're ready. The only thing that is not ready is the game itself. Overall, again, sorry for any brain nerves that I have had. Sorry for the coughing. Can't really do much about it, I'm afraid. And hopefully next week will be a bit more smooth that way. The thing is, I love streaming NA, but it is quite costly, mostly because of the time in the middle of the night. I would normally be very deep asleep right now. And it kind of affects what intelligence I have. Because, let's face it, it's not healthy to stream at this time of night. Same goes for Brian, to be fair. But he's a trooper as well. He's a champ at this. So 1 minute and 18 seconds left to go before we go into the first match of this last matchup of the night, because the place for battle for third place will have already begun, but potentially already be over, but it's definitely already begun. And these will be the last matches of the night for the NA server. I actually just really like that Wargaming selling Fishy stream. He's been wanting to, and they finally agreed. So let's see. 40 seconds left to go. Everyone is ready. I'm ready up. He's ready up. The teams are ready. And we just have to wait a tiny little bit more before we go into the actual match. And there we go. Almost there. Whew. Let's see, countdown clock has begun. Just checking to make sure there's nothing on OBS blocking your screen. And here we go. It will be fun to see who wins this, because these are, in a way, similar lineups. Primal has a bit more armor, but also a bit more mobility. Oh god, that looks so good on the mouse too. That camera seriously looks good on everything. So let's see. And they all go towards the BC area. The Sherry's there mainly to spot Ghost Ranger there for protection of Cora. Cora having been spotted. First shot hits the ground rather than the tank. And Cora gets a bit lucky with that. And we see some shots flying about. But not much happening with them yet. Base A in the meantime is being kept. The mice are holding. And now Pincer is moving in to grab base C. But it means that Primal will have a point advantage here. Oh, that did miss. You saw it hit the ground. And now base B is being taken. If Pincer gets away with it, which they might not, and then they will have a definite advantage. But they are not shooting External, who is basically the one that kept this base. But that missile definitely did pen. And you saw it fly. I like that the traces of the missiles are different, so it's easier to identify them. And Pincer is now just putting back, and they can afford to, because basically the other two mice are holding. External got a shot into Chipotle there. And basically Primal will have to steal base B back, but they can't really do that. And HP wise it's not that far apart, about half a K. And the moment they go to enter base B, they get shot. And Tantan is putting back into safe cover. Blocked a bit by Tanner, but getting away quite safely before Tanner takes that position again. We have even Steven in the mouse facing off against two mice, with Ghost Ranger at the back there, also being looked at by Conky. And they're trying it again. Chipotle moving in a way that is blocking the line of fire. And we see a big hit happening, and Chipotle is almost gone. Chipotle is gone. But base B is still being stolen. And Primal is going to get away with it. Now we have the mice pushing into even Steven here. And Rob in the E100 is losing HP very quickly. Tommy in the mouse not looking too healthy either in the middle here. Basically I want to show you everything, but I can't. And base B is being stolen again, even though now they're not actually stealing it. They're gonna go straight on through. They want to kill Tommy, they want to kill Rob, and they do. Tommy is still alive, but barely. But Tanner is not looking too healthy either. And there go both of them. And it is 6 versus 4. 6 versus 5. But HP wise, it is definitely Pincer's advantage, especially with Tantan on fire. He does survive it, but only just. We have the Sheridan being held there by the mouse. Can't really do anything. Cora not looking too healthy. And poor Sheridan is literally being crushed to death. Even Steven though can't angle because of that. And basically Ghost Ranger is capping the base, but it's not going to be enough. Not with Pincer having base B still. And about to kill even Steven, and they hit 1k points, and Pincer wins the first round. Let's see. That was definitely an interesting match. And in this case, the DPM that Pincer took versus the armor that Primal took, it worked out in Pincer's favor. So we are getting ready for potentially the last match of the night. It kind of depends on what Primal does here. I do expect him to put it back, because it is Primal. And we have Pincer that is ready in 2 AMX 50Bs, 2 IS4s, a Sherry and 2 mice. And Primal is still deciding on what they want to do. They have just over a minute left to go. That's plenty of time. And let's see. Less than a minute left to go. Pincer is changing things a little bit. But the lineup stays the same. And Primal has gone ready in 2 mice, 2 E100s, an IS-4 and 2 Sheridans. It will be interesting to see what they do with this. And in the meantime, Alpha has arrived in the stream chat. Hi Alpha. And we will see what happens in less than half a minute for 1 or 2 of the last fights that we get. Because it will depend on if Primal pulls this back, we get a tiebreaker. And otherwise it will be the last match. So let's see. 7 seconds, countdown clock has begun. We are going into the game. And here we go. Dun 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 dun. Seriously, I want that camo on so many tanks. I can't shut up about it, I know, but it's just so pretty. I like it. It doesn't. Things don't have to look serious for me. At the same time, I'm not that big a fan of the fantasy game modes. Because even though I like to pimp my tanks, I'm not playing this tank game to not be serious. So we see some action happening towards base A. It's almost like they're expecting this to happen. Sheridan's overlooking base C there at the end. Can't be shook. Peeking up and over but not spotting anyone. And now they're moving in to quickly cap base A. And to then get the blip out of there. Get them that early point advantage. Thing is, if they manage to cap base B, it could potentially be disastrous for Pincer. And they are capping 2 people at the same time. That is a good hit into the mouse though, with the missile. But base B has almost been capped. And that could be potentially very dangerous, because now Primal has the point advantage and base advantage. And they can just basically sit back and hold. And we have the mice holding with the AMXs at the rear. Even Steven taking another hit. And Primal pulling back with their big guns and big tanks. Tantan taking hit there. And Pincer rotating back around. The AMXs are still holding at the spawn, not really having done anything yet. So let's see how this will go. And that shot did not pan. Can't be good is heading around the spawn as well. Even Steven losing a little bit of HP. But so does Tommy. And now we see the AMXs rotating into it. And kind of Pincer wants to take base C, looks like it. And the AMXs get hit. Comey at least does, quite badly, crossing over there at the back. Base B is being taken. And they're driving into base C. They're basically going for all bases at the same time, already having had base A. We have Chipotle going into here, supported by the Sherry. And External is not going to live for long at this stage. The E100 going to finish it off. No, he does not. But it's actually even Steven that murders him. Still alive. We see missiles flying left and right. Big hits happening. There goes Tommy. And Pincer seems to be losing this game. Rob's still alive, but barely. There he goes. Base A is now being taken back. And Cora driving backwards, I should say, too. And there goes one AMX. Korra pushing forwards to basically protect himself. And there goes Say to Sheridan taking a big hit there. Sherry hunting Sherry here. But it is 4 versus 3. And we are at 875 points for Primal. And Primal looks to be taking this back with the extra gun that they have. Korra still alive, if barely. And still alive. It is 950 points for Primal. Unless magic happens, this is Primal's game. Tanner has to be careful there. But he gets another hit into Conky. We are at 950 points. Base C is being stolen. And Tanner is being kept alive to save the game. And as long as he stays hidden. But no, he is killed. They still have some chance. If barely, because they are at that many points. But in this case, Primal still hits 1k points. And Primal takes this match. And we get to see a tiebreaker. So that is the second match in this matchup. 4.5 minutes long. And we get to go to Middelburg for the tiebreaker. Well, like I said, I actually expect Rain to take home the tournament as a whole. No offense to the others, but they have Mo. And it helps to have a caller like that. He's so intuitive. It works wonders. So 1.5 minutes left to go before we go into the last battle of this evening. Regardless of what happens, this will be the last battle of this evening. And after that, I promise you, I will go back to bed. But yeah, overall, they're fun games though. And even though I sound as tired as I feel, I do feel that, and I definitely deserve the exposure, even though it's now getting it through Fishy as well. So I'm very grateful to him for streaming as well. He probably sounds a lot more awake than I do at this point. 40 seconds left to go before we go into the last match. And for Middelburg, Pincer is taking 3 IS-4s, 2 E5s, an STB and a Sherry. And they're going to go up against the 268, 2 mice, a Sherry, 2 IS-4s and a Chieftain MK6. We don't see that often. It is a great tank, one of the few British tanks that I really love. But we don't see it often being used in tournaments. So it will be interesting to see how it will perform at this stage. At the same time, there's not that much riding on it. I don't expect that we are seeing the Super Pro tactics at this stage, because they don't need to yet. At this stage, it's all about reaching that top 8. And here we go. Let's see. Tanker feels he should stay down. Let's see what's going to happen here. Lots of pretty camos on the E5 and the IS-4. Like I said, I need a lot more of that camo. People getting spotted early on. We see some shots happening, but they don't pen. And we see external capping base C. And being careful about it. Can't be good is there to spot. Primal seems to be a bit lost at what they're doing. They're not really committing to the hill yet, but they are mostly going up. And we see a missile going up and over there. And external decides not to spot that aggressively, which is I think a good call. And at the back, Ghost Ranger driving to the back. Zooming forwards, going into another position where he can use the missiles, which is here. I've seen so many replays where missiles are being fired and doing massive damage there. In this case it did not. Tommy does lose a little bit of HP there. He is still down, I think. No, he's actually... Everyone has gone up. But the mice are still down. Both teams have a base. Base B is uncontested. Not even being fought over. The mice are slowly going up. And can't be good. Has been spotted. And we see missiles flying back and forth. But actually... can't be good's missile hit Tantan. And Tantan is pulling back a little bit. But these positions are so OP for missile launchers with the backhand trick shot. That is a big hit into Zaitu. And that is shot into the ground. It's actually kind of fun to watch these missiles go. That being said, I still hope that they're going to be removed from the game altogether. Tank killer. Getting hit there. Overall, it's the missiles mainly that are doing the damage here. The mice have arrived. Steadily pushing in. And the mice seem to be pushing, but not all of Primal is going with them. Base C is being stolen. If they get away with this, it's going to be very, very costly for Pincer, because then they will have lost the base advantage. And they're now just pushing through. And there goes Tantan. And Pincer is pushing as well. Ghost Ranger is getting the blip out of there. Even Steven not looking too healthy. And Pincer is just going for it. And the mice are arriving. But it takes them forever to get around anywhere. And Chipotle is... Well, actually no, Rob is the next target. He's the one being hunted down at this stage. But he's still alive. Ghost Ranger jumping over things. So his can't be good. Ramming off the Sheridans here. But it is now 6 versus 3. 6 versus 2. And Pincer is definitely taking this home, because now they're also capping base C. Tanner is the last mouse alive. And now the only one we have left is Cora. And he can't really do much against this onslaught. Look at these tanks just rushing at him. And then he's just one lone Chieftain MK6. And he can't do much aside from run away and get absolutely massacred. He does try to hold on a little bit longer, but there he goes. Gun up in salute. Well, thank you for letting me. I'm sorry for the cold and everything. But thank you for the games you showed me, because that was definitely fun. And hopefully next week will go better, especially with the health stuff. So that's, yeah. Overall though, great games. Pincer did absolutely wonderful, winning, I think, the second finals in a row, because they took home the last one as well. And that was just a lovely game. Lovely game. Lovely games all around. So thank you all for tuning in. That is it for me tonight. Let's actually have a quick look at how it went with the battle for third place. It's actually already seen as over. And we basically want to see how it went with Rain versus Rain. And it's Rain that took it home versus Rain. But it's the main Rain that took it home. And I actually really love that all the streamers got to stream like the full show, because we all made it to the end, whether it was to the third place match or the final. So that was absolutely lovely. Like I said, I will post Fishy's channel on my server so that you can tune into him. Because that will definitely be worth it. So thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it despite the noises that I've made. Again, my apologies for that. Thank you all for the games. And I'll be seeing you on Thursday with the next EU stream. And then in the weekend again for all 3 servers. So everyone, a very good night. I'm going to go back to bed. And like I said, I will see you on Thursday. And we will see how it goes then. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.